Happy birthday to me, I'm 103. I still go to preschool, I want my mommy. My mommy's at work, she works for a jerk. The jerk is a monkey who ate my homework. No, I'm not that old yet, am I? No, not for a while.
Everybody knows you and I are suicide and stolen art.
Hey guys, I'm 19 years old today! And no, I'm not growing up. I'm never growing up. Not at noon, not near 9 o'clock, not next November, not now, not ever, never! I am not an adult. I am a big kid. There is a difference. Anyway, so I know that there will be people who won't believe that I'm 19, understandably so because I act like a 5-year-old 24/7 as I just exhibited, but I'm going to prove you wrong. This is my identification card. It's not a driver's license because I can't drive. This is for things like going to airports or to show my doctors because I have the power to schedule my own appointments now. I have covered up everything that is identifying, but here is my birth date. 11/27/2001. So mathematically, I am 19 years old. That is my face. And here is what I look like. They match, although I got a haircut about 2 months ago, but here is a photo of me from January. So, I got LPS for my birthday instead of a car, but as I said before, I can't drive, so I'm not even going to consider buying a car until I can. I have wanted these LPS for so long, as we all say when we get new LPS, but hey, it's the truth. And they all have names. Because, contrary to popular belief, kids aren't the only ones who love toys like there are kids. First we have these pets from LPS Lover QA, which I have been wanting because I really like their pets. This is Carmela, and this is Rita, after a Beatles song. Next I have this collie, which I bought a short while before my birthday with my own money, but she came so close to my birthday that I consider her a birthday present for myself, I guess. I literally freaked out when I saw her on Amazon again because they don't make these white collies anymore and I cannot get them. But I have her now, and her name is Melody. Next I have this corgi, which I had as a kid. I actually got her at Target when I was like 10. She came with a sparkly sea turtle and a hat and like a bucket and shovel, and I missed her, plus I love corgis. Her name is Maple. Next I got this husky, which I love because I love huskies. I have most of them. There are a few that I'm missing, but I'm not really planning on getting those anytime soon. This was the last one I wanted for right now. Her name is Evelyn, or Evie, or Eve, whatever you want to call her. She has a lot of nicknames. Next, I got this golden retriever, and I love her. I actually don't see her much in videos. Is she rare? I don't know. Her name is Maxine, because I've always wanted to name an LPS Maxine, because I just love that name. Next, I got this Chihuahua, which I also really wanted because I love Chihuahuas as well. Her name is Clover. Lastly, I got this Ferret, and I don't buy that many non-cat or dog LPS, but I love ferrets, and I have wanted this one for years and years and years. She came from Poland, which is super cool. I love her little hearts and the fact that they're sparkly. Her name is Jolene. I have also gotten some money from some family members, and I will be ordering more LPS soon with it. Might combine them into a Christmas haul video because I do want to make one. Now I'm going to be doing a story time, rather several. These events happened about 7 to 10 or more years ago, and I'm nearly 100% positive that everyone else who was involved in these events has long since forgotten about them, but that's okay, at least I remember. I am just going to say that when there will be real people mentioned, I'm not going to be using any of their actual names. I have made up names for them, and I will be using those in place of the real ones. There are some names I have forgotten, and some don't need to be mentioned. Those are not a big deal, obviously. First story was from when I was in kindergarten. My teacher had a bucket of these things in her classroom called counting bears. They were like these little toy bears in all the colors of the rainbow, and they were supposed to help us learn how to count, pretty much. That's what their name is. There were also some bigger bears in the mix that were about 3 times the size of the smaller ones. So one day during free time, I lined up some of the smaller bears on my table in rows and put a bigger bear at the front, and some girls came over to me and asked me what I was doing. I said I was playing school because that was in fact what I was doing. One of them asked who the teacher was and I pointed out the bigger bear, and one of them said, "Why don't you be the teacher?" And I said, "I'd probably have to stand on the table. What would Mrs. Jones say?" And then this girl named Stella, who was my friend, said, "She'd probably smack you out of school." And then a few days later, my mom threw a fit about the very inappropriate language I was apparently learning in my kindergarten class. She whined, "Stella's allowed to say smack! Holly is allowed to say blah blah blah!" Holly was a know-it-all girl. Like, wow, 5-year-old Katie, where did you ever learn such vulgar words? Smack? Blah blah blah? Do you kiss your mother with that mouth? No, I don't think so. The second story was also from when I was in kindergarten. You weren't allowed to bring in rocks from the school playground for whatever reason, so my and every other class made signs that said "No rocks allowed" and put them on our classroom doors. Here's an example of what they might look like. One day, me and 1 or 2 of my friends had this brilliant idea to put "No rocks allowed" signs all over the school, and that's exactly what we did. We each made like 10 or 15 signs that said "No rocks allowed," and when the teacher wasn't looking, we left the classroom and put the signs all over the school. When we got back, we had to sit in timeout, but that wasn't the end of it. A day later, I think, one of the recess monitors pulled a "No rocks allowed" sign off of a door that it had been Elmer glued onto in front of our whole class. She said that the school was not going to be getting new doors anytime soon. Well, the school never did bother to get new doors, so for the remainder of my time in elementary school, the green paper residue remained on the door, proof of the crime. Actually, that recess monitor was actually, like, really mean if I remember correctly. The third story was from when I was in 3rd grade. I used to be obsessively obsessed with Apple computers because the icons were always just so pretty. They were like so detailed and were 3-dimensional, unlike now, they're brightly colored and 2-dimensional. I had never had any Apple devices in my house growing up because my parents always said they were too expensive. I got to use them at school though, which was like a special treat. So, I took an art class outside of school in 3rd grade, and there was a Mac in the classroom for, like, teacher use. One day when we had a break, I moved the mouse along the dock and found a program called Toast Titanium. Only, I thought it was pronounced Toast Titantium, because little 8-year-old me didn't know big words. So I told my friends in the class and we all started laughing like crazy because they thought that the name of this program was hilarious too. And the teacher yelled at us for doing things that we weren't supposed to be doing even though it was only me. I should also tell you about my technology teacher at school. He was quite something. And that's not a bad thing, just let me explain. In my first technology class in kindergarten, I didn't know how to use a computer at all, barely knew what one was. He taught us what the dock on a Mac was by singing us this song called Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. I don't know who that is, but anyway, even though I never had an Apple computer in my house, I always remembered what the dock on one was from the name of this song. This teacher also spoke like 100,000 languages. I don't know how well he spoke all of them, but this is another example of his eccentricities. There were 3 tables in the technology room, and whenever it was like dismissal time, or time to go to lunch, or back to our class, whatever, he would say table 1, 2, or 3 in another language. Table would be in English, but the numbers would be in another one. And since none of us spoke that language, we didn't know who got to go first. So a lot of times a random table would get up, and if it was the wrong table, he would say, I say table blank. Like, in that tone, like how I said it. If you were lucky, you would have a student in your class who spoke that language at home and could translate, but that was rare, so we learned the process of elimination pretty quick. He did a lot of funny voices and impersonations, actually. I think he'd be good on a children's show. The final story is regarding my music class. One of my worst subjects, but there were reasons I liked it. So, when we had just returned to school, and before Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, we always sang these songs relating to those topics. I remember some of the names, maybe I'll Google them. One of the back-to-school songs was called DSL Coda. If you don't know what DSL Coda is, it's a musical composition term. I know zero about musical composition, so I'll put a picture up on the screen. This was a peppy song about DSL Coda. Everyone in my class was like obsessed with it, except for me, because I thought it was stupid. Each class we'd vote on which song to sing first, and during back to school time, DSL Coda always won and it drove me crazy. Because, well, that's the best way to ruin a song. Play it an outrageously excessive number of times. Also on the topic of my music class, this actually didn't happen to me, but it's funny, so I'll tell you anyway. My music teacher retired after I left elementary school. To take her place was this guy named Mr. Green. My brother hated Mr. Green. I know hate might be a strong word for some people, but based on how my brother would come home fuming about Mr. Green, I really do think he hated this guy. Mr. Green apparently taught the class rhythm and music by chanting coconut, coconut, apple, grape, and like other fruit names. My brother was in like 4th grade, I think. I mean, that is young, but that's a little too old for that kind of teaching, I personally think. So, those are some stories of mine. Oh my god, I need to shut up, you know that. I could tell more, but then this video would be like 1,000,000 years long, and I do not have the heart to make you guys sit through a 1,000,000-year-long video. You'll be as old as me by the time it's done! But anyway, thanks for listening to me talk. I love you all very, very much, and don't worry. I may be old, but I'm not going anywhere. I love doing this, and I have no obstacles that prevent me from leaving, so I'm not going to. Society can fuck itself. Okay, bye guys. Love you.